Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ben, and this is the Smoking Hot Confessions Barbecue Podcast. Hey family, I hope you're well wherever you are and you got that thin blue smoke rolling. This is episode 8 of season 6, my US road trip, part 2. In this season, I kick things off with 2 weeks in New Orleans. There, I head to a couple of competitions and spend some time hanging out with the who's who of Southern barbecue. From there, it's up to Kansas City for 4 days of barbecue nirvana at the National Barbecue and Grilling Association's annual conference and Excellence Awards. The final 2 weeks of the journey see us head into Arkansas for some R&R, including bass fishing, monster trucks, a state Cookoff Association competition, an AK-47, and a brush with a tornado. And of course, you're coming with me. This episode sees us hit up Kansas City for the National Barbecue and Grilling Association Conference. The full event was 4 days long. There was a pre-event on the Wednesday where we hardcore barbecue junkies jumped on a bus and headed to Plowboys, Slaps, and Joe's. That was an incredible experience, and I was super excited to find the person sitting behind me on the bus was none other than Meathead from AmazingRibs.com. Thursday and Friday were the conference days with sessions delivered by numerous experts within the barbecue industry. The annual Excellence Awards Gala was on the Friday night, and Saturday was the State Cookoff Association's NBBQA Barbecue Classic competition, where they actually ran 2 rounds in one day. In this episode, you'll find a collection of interviews I recorded on the Thursday, the first day of the conference sessions. The beauty of these industry conferences is that attendees are the most hardcore barbecue professionals who are also as keen as to network and share their knowledge and skills with others, and I definitely found that to be the case here. I'm excited to be able to share these stories and lessons with you. Before we get into it, I'd like to let you know about our awesome online shop. If you, like me, have a thing for barbecue caps, you gotta check out our awesome kettle cap. It's a white on black trucker style cap with a snapback fitting. The unique design sums up our 2 favorite things in life, barbecue and podcasts about barbecue. Check them out now at smokinghotconfessions.com/shop. I'd also like to invite you to join us at the Smoking Hot Confessions community on Facebook. If you're looking for a barbecue group full of open-minded people who just love to help each other out, the Smoking Hot Confessions community is a great place to continue the conversation. Finally, however you listen to this episode, please subscribe, rate, and review the show. It really helps me spread that barbecue love. So without further ado, grab yourself some homemade bacon and some brown liquor and join me at the NBBQA Annual Conference.
This is the internationally awarded Smoking Hot Confessions Barbecue Podcast with your host, Ben Arnott. How long's it been since your last confession?
If you've ever traced the history of real barbecue in Australia, you will have come across Ranch Hand. Owner Cliff founded the company in 2010, mixing and selling barbecue rubs before most of us knew what barbecue rubs even were. In short, Cliff is an OG of the Australian barbecue scene. An American expat, Cliff is single-minded in his goal to deliver traditional Southern recipes with fresh Aussie ingredients. And those recipes? They're secret family recipes dating back to the 1960s. The range of products is broad, with something for everyone from the backyard grill master to competitive pit masters. Some of these delicious rubs include the Midnight Magic Rub, the Better Off Red Beetroot Rub, and the Wild and Woolly Lamb and Game Rub. I got to taste the Midnight Magic Rub at a competition recently, and I gotta say, it's very, very good. So if you're looking for a barbecue rub that will wow family and friends as well as barbecue judges, do yourself a favor and head on over to ranchhand.com.au. That's ranchhand.com.au. Hey folks, it's Ben from Smoking Hot Confessions here. We're at lunchtime, day 1 at the NBBQA Conference here in beautiful Kansas City. And I've got with me Haywood Harris Jr. from the Rib Doctor. Mate, how are you enjoying the conference?
Oh man, I am loving it. I'm seeing friends I haven't seen in a couple of years. I'm enjoying making new friends, engaging, getting stuffed, going on the barbecue tour, you know.
Wasn't that great yesterday? That was amazing.
Man, we were still debating over who had the best ribs yesterday. Was it Slaps or was it Kansas City Joe's? And I think that when it all said and done, I think that Slaps edged them out a little bit due to moisture content.
That was my feeling on it as well. For me, I would have rated them Slaps, then Joe's, then Plowboys, I think.
That's exactly how we did it. Same came up with the same outcome. Slaps, Joe's Kansas City, and Plowboys. But they were all good.
Oh, yeah, that's no disrespect to any of them. That's just my personal rating.
Personal taste. Because I have to be honest with you, I was riding with Kansas City Joe's for a second. And then we got into the debate about moisture content. When you got into moisture content and started talking about the little bit more salt on Kansas City Joe's, Slaps won it hands down.
Yeah. Fair enough. Now, tell me about the Rib Doctor. What do you do at the Rib Doctor?
The Rib Doctor is a competition barbecue team. We have been competing with KCBS since 1994. We've been judging for them since 1991. And we've won several of the Award of Excellence here at the National Barbecue Association. We were notified about a month ago that either our barbecue sauces finished in the top 6 or our videos may have finished in the top 3. So, or both. We don't know. But the fact that we're going to get called for something, we're excited about that.
That's fantastic, mate. Absolutely fantastic. So, having already won awards from the NBBQA, what opportunities has that afforded you since?
We are now in Whole Food markets in the Southern California area. Because our sauce tends to be a premium brand sauce, because of the name as well as the quality of the product. We have gotten into several other, what we like to call highline grocery stores or retailers. We are recognized when we go out on the barbecue circuit. And it's been beyond my wildest imagination. The reality is that I'm a retired bureaucrat, but I just can't sit and watch TV all day. So we just said, well, barbecue is seasonal, even though we're in California, and we forgot about that part of it. But I said, well, we can do this for 3-4 months, and that way we can travel, 6-7 months. No, I'm working harder now than I have ever worked.
Yeah, I think there's retirement and then there's retirement.
Yes. I should have stuck with the retirement with being a bureaucrat. But you know what? I've had a blast doing it because we meet so many interesting people, and because my face is on the bottle, people when they come in and they sample the barbecue sauce, then they pick the bottle up and they go, "That's you," So, that brings on a different type of engagement. We talk about barbecue competitions, we talk about barbecue sauces, we talk about their barbecue experiences. But more importantly, I get a chance to help them, through whatever barbecue issues they may be having at that time. And I mean, just some of the more basic things that we as pros have long forgotten. Like, when do you put a barbecue sauce on? Because some folks actually marinate in barbecue sauce. No, you can't do that. There's sugar in there. It's going to burn. So that kind of enjoyment is what I get out of being retired and unretired selling barbecue sauce.
So it's all about sharing the knowledge and sharing the passion.
You know what? There were some folks that helped me out when I was coming up, and believe it or not, I've been cooking since I was knee-high to a 5-cent stamp. And when's the last time you seen a 5-cent stamp? So when I came into the barbecue world, I thought I knew all there was to be great in barbecue. That's how I got the name Rib Doctor,
Makes sense.
But then I found out from other guys that spanking my behind in the early days what I didn't learn. And these guys took me by the hand and guided me through things that I didn't know. They put their arms around me and said, "Come on, man, we're going to teach you some things." So essentially, because I was just grilling, I had no idea what smoking was. So these guys took me from being a great griller to right now, I call myself a pseudo great smoker, but I think I'm a great smoker.
Alrighty. So you mentioned before that the Rib Doctor sauce is a premium level sauce, like a premium end product.
Yes.
What is it about your sauce that makes it so unique?
We have no high fructose corn syrup in it. It's gluten-free. It's low sodium. It's low sugar. We use premium products. And I took a class today, and one of the things they were talking about is MSG. So I don't believe I have MSG in my product, but just that quickly, I sent a note off to my co-packer asking them, do I have MSG in my product? Because if she comes back and says, no, then that's another feature that we're able to say that our product is.
Add that to the label.
Yeah, so we actually think we have a healthy product. That's how, in fact, we didn't even know the product was healthy. As we were going through the development phase, we had a nutritionist, handle our labeling for us. So, she ran the products through whatever process they run it through, whether it's digital or manual or however they come up with it. And she called me up and she goes, do you know what you have? I said, yeah, I got a barbecue sauce. She says, no, do you know what you have? And I'm going, yeah, I got a barbecue sauce. She says, no, your sauce is low sodium, low sugar. You have a healthy barbecue sauce. Do you know how many people are out there looking for a healthy barbecue sauce? So we had no idea, but we backed into a niche, and we're glad we did. And more importantly, we're able to communicate to our potential clients that we have a healthy barbecue sauce that actually tastes good. And it's a national award winner.
Well, mate, congratulations. That all sounds amazing. If I can just have a little bit more of your time, I just want to ask one question about finding a co-packer. How do you go about finding a co-packer? Do you just hit Google and just search co-packer, or do you network through events and find someone that you can work with? What tips would you have for people that are looking to find co-packers for sauces or rubs of their own?
We did, in fact, Google, and then we asked other people that were in the business, where did you go to get your product co-packed? I think nowadays that what people can do is they can contact the National Barbecue Association, and they are a great resource for helping you find a co-packer either locally or nationally. But the easiest way is to Google and look under co-packer, but do your homework. All co-packers are not equal. Okay. I happen to have gotten lucky, and we were blessed with co-packers that are honest, that are straightforward, get you the quality products and ingredients that I wanted, and still be able to do it at a reasonable price. There are others out there that's not necessarily going to meet that high bar. So find at least 3 or 4, interview them, get comfortable with them, because after all, you're going to be sharing your recipe with them. And you're talking, about a confidentiality agreement.
I was going to say, is that when the lawyers get involved?
Well, you can either create a non-disclosure agreement yourself, but I would suggest that, yes, you do have counsel available to you, or at least have counsel review your non-disclosure agreement, or if the co-packer gives you a non-disclosure agreement that's blank, have your counsel review that.
Yes, that's probably a good piece of advice right there.
Yeah, because I'm telling you, there's all kinds of little pitfalls. As I was sharing, was able to talk to other folks who have been in this game for a while longer than myself. Mm-hmm. There are so many pitfalls in the barbecue sauce game that if you're not careful, you can get yourself hurt. Non-disclosure is one of those, that if you do not have all the I's dotted and all the T's crossed and had counsel say, okay, this is a good one, you'll look up later on down the road if someone is taking your recipe, made the product themselves, put a different label on it, but you're not going to benefit from that. They are. So I think that having counsel is probably essential in making sure that you have a quality non-disclosure agreement or confidentiality agreement.
Mate, that's some great advice. Well, there you have it, folks. There's some top tips. If you've got some sauces or some rubs of your own, you've got some ideas you want to get into, some top tips from Hayward Harris Jr., the Rib Doctor. Mate, thanks very much for your time, and you should go get yourself some lunch.
Thank you. I truly enjoyed engaging. Is this in Australia, you say?
So this will be international. So I've got like a 2/3 Australian, 1/3 American audience.
Audience, happy to have done it for you. I've truly enjoyed this engaging moment.
Hey folks, it's Ben from Smoking Hot Confessions here. It's day 1, lunchtime at the NBBQA Conference. Everyone else is outside having lunch, but I'm here working for you. So just got to lay it on a bit thick. Now, it's not every day that you get to meet some legends of the barbecue scene. And today I've got 2 of them right here with us. So we've got Mr. Kent Black, third generation pitmaster from Black's Barbecue, and Barrett Black, the fourth generation of Black's Barbecue. So I'll start with you. How have you been enjoying the conference?
Oh, it's been great. We always enjoy the National Barbecue Association, learn a lot, got a lot of friends here, and I really recommend it for anybody interested in barbecue to check it out.
So how many years have you been coming to the conference?
This is probably 12 or 13 we've been coming.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've really enjoyed them. They have them in different parts of the country, and it's always, you learn a lot and have a good time too.
Now, is it the learning side that you like the most, or is it the networking?
Well, that's a tough call, because you do learn a lot in the seminars. Even though my family's been in the business 87 years at the original Black's Barbecue, and but then I even learned more at the hotel bar afterwards, talking to some of these good folks. And everybody's so open and willing to talk about how they do things, and it's just people are here to love barbecue, and they're willing to talk about how they do things, and we all cook a little differently, so it's a lot of fun.
I did notice yesterday after the pre-event that there was the things you learn at the event, and then you get the real story at the bar later. So that was that was kind of curious. Now, you did just mention that your family has an 87-year history in barbecue. Can you fill us in on the story of your family and barbecue?
Sure. We started in 1932 in Lockhart, Texas, which is a little town just south of the capital city, Austin. And my grandfather had 100 head of cattle, but it was the Depression in the United States, so nobody literally had any money. And times were tough economically, so he didn't know what he would do with those 100 head of cattle. And he had a friend that wanted to open a meat market. This is the 30s. There's very little refrigeration, if any. It was with blocks of ice.
Yep.
And so there were meat markets in every little town, probably just like in Australia. And so his friend wanted to open a meat market. My grandfather said, hey, I've got 100 head of cattle. They shook hands, and that's how our company was born.
Right. Okay. So they were obviously the animal processing side, and your family was the cooking and sales side.
Right. So we took those 100 head of cattle, which were about 15 miles outside of town in the country, and we did a cattle drive, literally, into Lockhart, Texas in 1932. My dad, who lived to be 91, remembers riding a horse in that, and they took those 100 head of cattle into the little town of Lockhart, and they pastured them nearby. They opened their meat market, and then as they needed cattle, they would process them. Back then, every little town had a slaughterhouse, and so those 100 head of cattle were what started our meat market, grocery store, barbecue joint combination, which over the years grew, and so the grocery store split off, became the largest grocery store in the county. The restaurant split off, became the largest restaurant in the county. And then we even got into, we make our own sausage. And so we had Lockhart Sausage Company. We were selling to all the grocery stores within about a 60-mile radius. So my grandfather started, he was county judge, but he really enjoyed playing dominoes in politics more than he did the business. So my dear parents who worked in the business for 60 years, they really built it up. And then when they retired, I bought the business from them, and I'm third generation trying to continue the business. And then my son, Barrett, is the fourth generation.
Yeah. Now, speaking of Barrett, generation number 4, mate.
Yes.
Where do you fit into the business at the moment?
Oh man. I mean, a lot of people ask me, so what do you do every day? And sometimes I don't know. I mean, when your last name's Black, you just got to go where you got to go at some of those days.
Yeah.
We have very fortunate to have 4 very successful locations right now. I'm at the Austin store mostly, just keeping that one going. But also, help a lot with some of the demos and exhibits and things like that as well, and festivals. So always trying to innovate and stay true to our roots of who we are as a traditional barbecue joint. But my family has a history of always pushing the envelope of innovating and new flavor profiles, not getting too crazy, staying within our roots, but looking to the future as well to keep having fun with it.
Mate, that sounds so good. Can you give me a bit of an idea of what some of those new innovations are?
Let's see. One of my favorites that I came up with is our maple jalapeno donut sandwich.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. We take our jalapeno cheddar sausage, we brulee it in some maple syrup, and then put it between a donut. And it's just like a sweet, salty, spicy, just, firework in your mouth.
Wow, how long's that been out?
Well, that's something we do special for certain festivals or special events, that kind of thing. So you can't come to the store, sadly, and get it. But we started doing that maybe a couple of years ago. But very fortunate. We did a lamb cook-off this last weekend, and we did lamb masa cakes with a Mexican Coke mole as well. But we just smoked the lamb, and it's some part of the business that I really have fun with. That I feel like I learned from my grandmother, who was always cooking what she could and coming up with new recipes out of necessity, because she grew up in the Depression, and then she and my grandfather, they slugged it out in the barbecue business way before barbecue was cool, before the Barbecue Association existed, and they were just doing it because they had to make an income. And she would come up with these recipes based on what she had, because she couldn't afford to go, get new ingredients, different things like that. So she had to work with what she had. And I've really taken that to heart and love that kind of style of cooking, and attribute, the creativity and those kinds of things that I have from her.
It is amazing just how much of the story of barbecue is tied to this concept of necessity. You were just saying that your grandmother was in the Depression era, and so we often forget in modern times that in that time period they didn't have year-round fruit and veggies, for example, or year-round spices. It was whatever was cooking, whatever was growing that season was what you were cooking that season.
That's right.
Yeah, so that's a whole lot of creativity on her part. I want to back up a little bit to something you just said about cooking lamb. I missed what you said, but I got that it was Mexican influence. We do a lot of lamb in Australia, so I'm always interested when I hear Americans say that they do lamb. So can you break that down for us and tell us what that was?
Yeah, there's an event that happens across the country. It's called the Lamb Jam. It's put on by the
Lamb Jam.
Yeah, it's put on by the American Lamb Board, trying to promote sales and stuff of American lamb. And so it's a little competition between a bunch of chefs that I've gotten to be a part of the last few years. I don't know how I got invited. It's mostly chefs. I'm one of like 2 barbecue guys. So they always say, "Oh, it's Chef Barrett." I was like, no, I'm not a chef. I'm a barbecue guy. But very fortunate this last week to actually take a trophy from him. Won first place with.
Chef Barrett it is then.
I may interject. He took 2 trophies. He won his category for Latin, and then he won Best in Show and beat out 15 other chefs. So who all had some great products. So he's going to the Lamb Jam Nationals.
Wow!
Yeah.
Wow! Very, very proud dad moment.
I got to break in and brag on him.
Right. But the competition is every chef is assigned a different category. So I got assigned the Latin category. So I came up with it's a little masa cake. The stuff you make tamales out of, and kind of fried it on a griddle, and then made a Mexican Coke mole sauce, which was, I thought, delicious, and then. We're a barbecue joint, so of course I smoke the lamb. I use lamb neck. I don't know if you've ever used that very much.
Oh yeah,
but,
yeah.
It's not something you see very much here in America, but something I've fallen in love with, especially as a barbecue guy. It's great for the smoker. You get that nice fat cap. Kind of turns into crackling. It's hard to beat.
Yeah, it's really good, Matt, really good.
Yeah.
Now, I know that I've seen a lot of your family on TV, on various different shows. Mm-hmm. Have you got any projects coming up in the future that you're allowed to sort of premiere here on Smoking Hot Confessions?
Nothing that we're personally, pushing. We're very fortunate to have the brand that we have. The generations that came before us that worked so hard to build what we have, that people are always asking us to be a part of things. So we actually have a call later today that we're doing that a show wants us to be a part of. And just watch out for us on Food Network, I guess.
Ah, there you go, Food Network.
Yeah.
Well, look, I'm going to say thanks very much for your time. I'm going to wrap it up now because I don't know about you, I haven't had any lunch yet, and I know everyone's out over the street having lunch.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you fellas probably haven't either. So I'm going to say thanks very much for being on the show.
My pleasure.
Yes, sir.
And I'll see you around the rest of the conference.
Sounds great.
All right.
Hi, this is Chris from IQ4U, and you're listening to Smoking Hot Confessions.
If you want good barbecue, you need good charcoal. And when it comes to charcoal, the denser the wood, the better the charcoal. This is where Dragon's Breath charcoal comes in. It's made from Australian native Gidgee, famous for being the 3rd most dense wood in the world, which means you're going to get 100% quality 100% of the time. The manufacture of Dragon's Breath charcoal was founded in 2005 and is the largest charcoal manufacturer in Queensland. A company founded in firm principles and values, the manufacturers of Dragon's Breath seek out opportunities to serve the community, starting with their work in the environmental restoration of southwest Queensland's sheep and cattle stations. Over the years, they've developed dietary charcoal products for livestock and horses and pets. And now there's garden and agricultural soil products that help keep moisture in the soil while it takes CO2 out of the atmosphere. Dragon's Breath Charcoal will be launching on Amazon in October, so stay tuned for more info soon. Hey folks, it's Ben from Smoking Hot Confessions here. We're on lunchtime day one of the NBBQA Conference in Kansas City. The windy city has become the rainy city, so all the lunch and everything's all moved inside, but luckily we're a floor above, so we're not getting all that background noise. Now, if you've been watching the show for a while, you know that I love my barbecue toys. And I've managed to find Mendel from the Meat Stick, and he's got some pretty cool barbecue toys that he's going to show us. Mate, how are you enjoying NBBQA 2019?
I'm loving it right now. I mean, the food is great. The speakers are great. The people in general are great. And, you know, we're having a lot of talk about barbecue, what's good, how to do it. And, you know, I'm just enjoying the show.
Yeah, it's always good when you get to just hang out with like-minded people and just, network and brainstorm and problem solve and all the rest of that stuff. So, mate, tell me about the Meat Stick.
So the Meat Stick, we've been developing it for the past few years, and we've realized there's a solution that's been needed in the barbecue world for a true wireless meat thermometer. And so we developed this true wireless meat thermometer. Here, let me show you. Where it's completely actually wireless, and you could stick it into your meat, stick it into your chicken, your brisket, and leave it in there through the entire cooking process.
Very cool.
Yeah. So this uses Bluetooth to connect to your phone. Obviously, for a lot of people that realize that wireless technology, Bluetooth isn't the strongest of wireless technology, right? So when you put this into your chicken, into a grill, and you close it up, the signal is going to get lost, right? So for that, we've actually invented the Meat Stick extender, which repeats the Bluetooth signal and amplifies it up to 300 feet away. All right, so really for most people, you could get that signal from your house, like anywhere in your home.
So my smoker is 5 mil steel. So with that extender, that would be thick enough. I'd still get that 300 feet?
Yes. So what's cool is we made this to listen to the signal from our Meat Stick itself. And because of that, it's able to listen, even though the signal gets really weak from your grill, this thing will pick it up. And then once it picks it up, it just, amplifies. It's already outside your grill. So
I didn't even know you could do that. That's cool.
Exactly. Right. So for a lot of people, we've been seeing also they wanted to, put it up into the cloud. Right, you want to be able to get your temperatures from anywhere.
Yep.
Right. Yep. So we have also invented our Wi-Fi bridge, which connects to your Wi-Fi, which obviously connects to your cloud, our cloud, and you could pretty much go to the store, have access to your temperatures, be alerted for any flare-ups or any your pellet grill, let's say, runs out of pellets, there's a jam, or your coals are dying, who knows, right?
Very cool. So you got options there. You can have a Bluetooth connection or a Wi-Fi connection.
Yes, that's correct.
I love that because personally, I much prefer the Wi-Fi connection over the Bluetooth. So I think that's awesome that you got that flexibility, particularly because when I'm at competitions, I often don't have Wi-Fi. So when I'm cooking at a competition, then I need that Bluetooth.
Exactly.
So that's so good.
Right. And also what's actually cool is for our Wi-Fi bridge, when you are at a competition or whatnot, you could actually turn it into the extender mode because there's no Wi-Fi around, and that will just repeat the signal as well.
Ah, great idea.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, so you can actually do both.
So what was the development process like? Like, I'm assuming that you must have had the idea. How long did it take to get from idea to sales? Just sort of, run me through the process.
Well, we originally thought of the idea around two to 3 years ago. The company I was working with, we built technology in the IoT field, Internet of Things, and we took our experience from that and applied it to this meat thermometer. I personally love cooking. I'm constantly hosting friends, having barbecues. One of the biggest issues I found was, I'm cooking some chicken, or, I'm trying to talk to people and I completely forget about my meat, right?
Guilty.
And, you go back and, it's burnt, or a lot of times you're constantly, if you do remember, you're constantly checking up on it.
Yep.
And what does that do? It takes you away from your friends, from your family, and it's so annoying. So to be able to just pick up your phone from anywhere to check your temperatures and make sure when the meat's done, it just makes things so much easier.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So good. So what's coming up in the future then? Like, what's next in your plan?
And right now we're actually developing sales channels. Right now we're only selling the U.S. We're in the main U.S. market. We are talking to potential distributors in other markets to try to get our product into the world. Right. I mean, we'll see how it goes. If someone, is interested in distributing, feel free to contact us and we'll try to work something out. We're talking to mom and pop shops to get our product into the store so people could see it firsthand. But what's great right now is, if you're in the U.S. at least, if you order it, there's a 30-day risk-free trial, right?
Excellent.
If you don't like it, feel free to just return it, mention that. It's not advertised, but that's what we will do.
Beautiful. So good. And if someone watching from Australia was really busting to get one of these, would they be able to contact you directly and then arrange paying postage and all that sort of stuff?
That is correct. If you contact us directly, just find our email or on our website and we could arrange something.
Beautiful, man. Now, can you give me a quick idea of the price that you put on that and where people can track you down? So your social medias, your emails, all that sort of stuff. So
let's see. Our website is themeatstick.com. Our Instagram is the Meatstick IG. Social media, Facebook, I don't remember off the top of my head, and we had to switch things up because the Meatstick is taken for a lot of certain domains.
I'd imagine it would. It'd be sort of similar to Smoking Hot Confessions in that regard. You'd get people looking for something else.
Yeah. So but in general, you could just find us on our website, themeatstick.com, and all the information is on there. And shipment to Australia, I'm not sure how it works, but
we'll work it out.
We'll work it out.
Yeah. Awesome, mate. Thanks so much for your time.
No problem.
Thank you for being part of the show.
Of course.
And best of luck with that, because that's the coolest thing I've seen in a long time.
Thank you. And also, we're always looking for new ideas, new fresh ideas to make new products directly for the barbecue community. So feel free to just reach out, give us your input, and we'll take that in consideration.
What about a powered stubby cooler, or a koozie you call it here?
Okay.
A powered koozie that will give you alarms if your beer is outside of a certain threshold temperature.
That'd be pretty cool, and that could be easily made. The big issue with that is, are there enough of you guys willing to buy something like that?
Of course.
It won't be cheap.
No. All right, look, thanks very much for your time. Thanks for being part of the show, and enjoy the rest of the conference.
All right, thank you. You too.
Hey folks, it's Ben from Smoking Hot Confessions here. We're in the mid-session break at NBBQA Day 1 in Kansas City. The Windy City's become the rainy city. Everyone's kind of pushed inside. And I just happened to come across my good mate Sterling. Mate, how you going?
Excellent, man. It's good seeing you out here, man. We ran into each other a couple times, so I'd love to see you more.
Usually I end up running into you in Australia, but now I'm returning the favour and I'm tracking you down in your hometown. So
well, hopefully I'll track you down in Australia in August for the Burley competition. So
yes, we are going to be competing there. That's my local comp. I always compete.
Absolutely, I'm looking forward to seeing you again there.
Yeah. Are you going to do a lesson there? Because I got heaps from that class there last time.
Thank you for that. Absolutely. I'm not sure right now. I'm working with Hark Industries. They're one of the sponsors with Green Mountain Grills Australia for that competition. So when I come out, I do demos. I usually do a class of some sort. And then obviously compete with you guys. Love competing with you guys. But I'm working it out now with them. And so we're competing as Green Mountain Grills Australia. Me and Dan from Big Smoke are partnering.
Oh, damn.
So this is going to be a collabo team. So he's going to do a couple entries. I'm going to do some. And, I'm pretty sure he wants me to cook lamb.
Interesting. Now, talking about lamb, you had a bit of success with that in Australia recently, didn't you?
Yes, absolutely. So the first time coming out in 2017 to the Invitational, you guys invited me out. I did the class there, and then got to compete and taking grand champion in 2017 with the best of the best in Australia. It was just a phenomenal experience. but to top it off, first place in lamb, and that was in 2017.
Wow.
So they invited me back last year. They're like, we can't have this American, taking out lamb on us. So they invited me back last year, and fortunately, I took first in chicken, first in lamb again. And I was about, I think, 5th overall. So I'm holding on to that Australian lamb title, and hopefully another time.
Didn't you just kill it again last week in Melbourne?
So last a couple of weeks ago, we were at Meatstock Melbourne, and 55 top teams, some American teams coming out, 5th in lamb, 5th in brisket, 2nd in pork, and 4th place overall against, these legends. And you guys in Australia are just coming up like hot and fast. You guys are getting it, and it's, it's getting stronger. Every time you go down for a competition, the field's getting stronger. Knowledge is out there. There's people doing classes. There's internet. There's so much knowledge out there that people are sucking up, and man, to win one of these comps, you got to be at the top of your game. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. I think so. Competition barbecue's been sort of happening for about 30 years over here.
Yes.
It's only been happening about 5 years for us, but I don't feel like we're 25 years behind.
Right. No. The learning curve is definitely tightening, and that comes with the amount of knowledge that's available, and that comes with people like me and Big Mo and Tuffy and these guys coming out and doing classes in Australia and spreading our knowledge, and because that's what it's about. We're all just cooking meat in the parking lot at the end of the day, and if I can help you get better, then it's just going to make all of us get better,
Yeah, for sure. Now, speaking of sharing knowledge and learning and classes and all that sort of stuff, you just did a presentation here at the conference earlier today. How was that?
Yes, it was awesome. Anytime that I can share my successes with people and try to help them get better, then, it helps me as an individual, and, everybody's here to help each other. And that's what I love about this conference,
And was that the first time that you've presented in an environment like this?
No, actually last year, Amy from Old World Spices, Dan from Sucklebusters, and I were on a panel on rubs and sauces and kind of what Code 3 Spices did today, a little bit of like taking your idea and bottling it or putting it into something, So we did that last.
Literally bottling the idea.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we, it works well that way with our product. But we did that last year, and then Dan reached out to me this year because they wanted to present another something. So we decided to collaborate together and do a branding seminar on, what is branding and what is your brand and who are you as a brand, especially for people like this at this conference who have products, who have, stuff in the industry. It's building a name in that industry and people knowing what's behind that. It's not just a logo, it's a brand, it's a story, it's me, as a person. So you want to bring that out and bring that out into your brand. So we talked about, ways that people can build on that and grow their brand and grow their market and their name in this industry,
Awesome. That sounds amazing. Can you give me some of the tips and things that you were sharing?
Yes, absolutely. We talked several things about social media, obviously things like you're doing right now. Absolutely. YouTube, the videos, engaging with your customers and your clients and building an army or a ship. I refer to it as a ship because I was in the Navy. So your ship of your fans and your people who want to go out and support you and your tribe, if you will. So we've talked about that. We talked about telling your story. What is Loot and Booty Barbecue? It's not the skull, it's not a rubber sauce, it's me as a person. So we talked about sharing your story and bringing authenticity and genuineness into that,
Yeah, storytelling is still one of the most powerful ways of communicating, and that's part of what I do now is I help people share their stories with the rest of the world. So
absolutely, and that's awesome that like countries like you guys are coming out, you're getting more involved in barbecue and spreading like wildfire. I mean, it's a cliche phrase, but it is spreading like wildfire. It's getting very popular, and people are understanding the craft. It's not just throwing some meat on a fire. There's craft and art into it, and that's what a lot of us appeals to us is that hands-on craft or art.
Yeah. One of the things that I've gained a real insight into being here at this conference is you were just saying that it's an art, that it's a craft. Talking to different people, like, you're a rub guy. I talked to a sauce guy earlier. I talked to a charcoal guy before that. There's so much story and so much goes into making that one piece and then putting all those pieces together to make barbecue. It's just, it blows my mind how much is involved in every step.
Absolutely. A lot of people think about having a rub or a sauce. They put something together in the kitchen and, I want to take it from here and it's won me awards or whatever. How do I put it in a bottle and get it out to people? There's so many facets getting to that next level that, a lot of us have been through those stages, and a lot of us want to share our experiences, the ups and the downs, the with the good, there's some bad, you know, and if we can limit that and help people through those bad times, and like I said, we all get better.
Yeah, for sure. Well, look, man, thanks very much for your time.
Anytime.
I realize you're a busy man. You've got to get out and keep pressing the palms and all that. So
shake the hands, kiss the babies.
That's it. Thanks very much, mate.
Anytime, mate. Hey, I'm looking forward to Burley. We'll have to sit down and have a couple beers.
Definitely. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
All right, catch ya.
Thanks, mate.
Hey folks, Ben from Smoking Hot Confessions here. It's day one of the NBBQA. We are having a ball. And with me right now, I've got Junior from Up in Smoke Barbecue. That name might sound familiar to you because just a few months ago, I was at a festival named Up in Smoke in Adelaide. But this is obviously very different. Mate, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on board, and tell us a bit about what Up in Smoke does.
Appreciate you having me. Up in Smoke was started as a competing business. And that's what we used to do, competitions and stuff like that. Of course, over the years, gotten better and better and producing good quality food. And then now we got a full-blown restaurant.
Awesome.
Our main business is catering. We do 2 or 3 caterings per day. Then
Per 2
or 3 caterings per day. And then we open Friday and Saturday to the public from 11 to 2. So
that's incredible. So how long were you competing for before you started to get into the food vending side of things?
I think I started in 2010. I started doing competitions locally, and then of course you start going to different states and cooking, and then national. So, I've been all over, man. All over Texas, all over Oklahoma, Kansas City, you name it. I've been there.
Awesome. So where is home for you? Is it Texas?
Texas. We are on western side of Texas, and we're in Midland, Texas.
Okay. Is that kind of western side? So that'd be not Houston side. It'd be the other side, wouldn't it?
We're 9 hours from Houston, so west side, close to New Mexico.
Ah, right. Gotcha. Okay. So what kind of New Mexican influences do you get from that comes through into your barbecue? Because my wife spent a bit of time growing up in New Mexico, and she always talks about how good the food is there. So how does that sort of background, that sort of area, influence your barbecue?
It influences a lot because of the spices and the seasonings that we use. I mean, it's real robust. Even using my seasoning, it's called Junior's Rub for Grub. I mean, it is awesome seasoning that's good on anything. It's got some good spice. I mean, it's just a bold flavor, man. The food, you can taste it. It's got a little bit of chilies and stuff like that in it. So, being close to New Mexico and western Texas, we got bold flavors, man. You can really tell in the food.
That sounds so good. So you've actually got like a commercial rub available as well?
We do, yes.
So you're hitting this barbecue industry from all angles?
Every angle. From the competition side, of course, we don't do as many anymore, but we're doing a lot of caterings. We're still in the, open. We're wanting to open our restaurant like 5 days a week, starting this summer. So anyways, we hit in every angle. Absolutely.
That'll be awesome. That'll be so good. So can you tell me a little bit about the catering side of thing? What sort of work goes into moving from being a competition team into doing catering?
It's funny you say that because, I started from serving food out of my front yard. Literally.
Really?
I had a simple trailer that I built over the years. I started from that. Didn't have any money to do it, but I had the passion to do it. So I built this trailer, and I started having people come in front of my house. I had picnic tables, real simple. We started selling from in front of my house. Then from there, we went and bought a location, some property, and I built my restaurant.
And you never got any hassle from the government for trying to work from your front yard?
Well, we kept it hush. But, we kept it hush. We did everything legit. My trailer was my commissary, so to speak. And we never had any trouble. So,
so
the food was too good.
Yeah. In Australia, we'd never be able to get away with that. The government would come around and be like, no. So it's fascinating to hear these stories about people such as yourselves that have, started with a trailer in the yard and then built it into such a huge deal.
Yeah, and the only reason I did that was, when you build something from scratch and you don't have any backing or any money to do it, the passion will push you through to do whatever you have to make it happen. And, that's simply what I did. And now I got an awesome restaurant that we're busy. We're known nationally. So we got people coming from Australia, from all over the country, Europe, I mean, everywhere.
Yeah, your reputation just definitely precedes you. I was walking through and I was talking to Saffron. She's like, "That's Junior. You got to go talk to Junior." So I was like, "Okay."
Yeah.
Heaps good. So tell me, what are you looking to get from the NBBQA conference this year? What's your goal here?
My goal is here is meet new people in the industry. If I can help out in any way, fashion, or form, get them some help. Maybe help them avoid some of the stuff that I knew.
Oh yeah.
Really, because man, it was a struggle. There's a lot of mistakes that I made, and I was able to overcome them. A lot of people just can't make the mistakes, and it can totally devastate them. So, if I can help them avoid some of the mistakes, I'll do that.
I'm getting that message a lot from people here, that everyone's just here to help everybody else, and I love that.
Right. It's just, everybody here has some way, fashion, or form, has built a business. They wouldn't be here if it wasn't because they want to continue to build the business or start it or continue growing it. So that's the main goal here, man. Everybody get together. I got to meet you. It's an awesome deal. We're going to be friends forever now. So, that's what it's all about.
Beautiful. Now, before I let you go, can you share one story where you did hit one of those hiccups and explain what it was and how you solved it?
Sure. Well, one of the hiccups was, right now oil industry is super good, and they're in my area. It's Midland. 2 years ago, it was a bad situation. I bought the property. It was $175,000 property that I bought to build my future restaurant. Mm-hmm. At the time that I did the negotiations, it was a perfect time. That's when the oil industry went under. So I was struggling to barely pay my bills, much less a brand new property to build my restaurant on.
Yeah, because the value would have plummeted.
It did. It plummeted. I was in a bad situation. I put my family in danger. But what kept me going was, I built good connections with my customers. Good food and good service. My continuation of serving good food and the passion of cooking, man. That's the only thing that drove me through. And it was a scary time for me, man. It really was. It almost took me under.
Well, mate, I'm glad to see that you rose above. You conquered. You're here at NBBQA, and you're taking those experiences and then turning them into something to help share with other people. So, absolutely. Mate, I appreciate it. I appreciate your time. Thanks for coming on the show, and enjoy the rest of the conference.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. You bet.
Got a project you'd like to work on with the SHC team? Shoot Ben an email on ben@smokinghotconfessions.com and let's have a conversation.
If you're looking for your next barbecue smoker or grill, Jagged Wood-Fired has got what you need. Owners Julianne and Glenn are multiple award-winning barbecue competitors who've even travelled to the US to compete at the World Barbecue Championships in Houston, Texas. Based out of Perth and shipping nationwide, Jagged is one of the largest pit builders in the country and has an ever-growing lineup of meat cooking machinery. Not only do they have their now famous smoker ovens, they are also producing incredibly efficient gravity-fed cabinet smokers and some of the most stylish asado grills you're ever going to see. Jagged is also well known for amazingly detailed custom work, ranging from backyard designs all the way to installations in commercial kitchens. Proudly Australian designed, owned and manufactured, you can find out more at jaggedwoodfired.com.au, spelled Jagrd. Once again, head to jaggedwoodfired.com.au, spelled Jagrd, to learn more. Hey folks, it's Ben from Smoking Hot Confessions here. We're partway through day one of the NBBQA Conference in Kansas City. And with me, I've got Kyle and Mark from Uncle Bob's BBQ. Gentlemen, how are you enjoying the conference?
It's a lot of fun. Unfortunately, we won't be here that long, but it's a lot of fun. Hopefully we can learn something. It seems like we've already learned something today. And if we could take away one or two things, it's always a plus. So, and it's great to see everybody. It's kind of like a family reunion. So we enjoy coming. Yeah.
So how many years have you been coming to the NBBQA?
This is our 21st year.
21st year, wow.
Yeah, I missed 1 year because I was sick, but that was it. Yeah, so we come every year. We usually come with 2 2 to 3, 4 people, and it's a lot of fun because we get to learn and see other things, especially for Kyle. He's our pit master, certified chef, and it's good. We went to 3 different restaurants yesterday with the bus tour. They were all awesome, but we picked up one thing, so it was really good.
Excellent. Yeah. Which 3 restaurants did you go to?
So we started at Plowboys, and that was excellent. Todd was great. We went to Slaps, that was awesome, and Joe's, and they were all excellent. All 3 were on my bucket list, and we did it all in one day, one afternoon.
So good, yeah. We were on the same bus. So,
yes, yes, you and your wife and your son were sitting in front of us.
Yes, yep, and she just sent me a photo. He's knocked a tooth out today.
That age,
yeah. The US dollar bill tooth fairy's gonna cash him up tonight.
That can get expensive, huh?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So Kyle, as the head pitmaster at your barbecue restaurant, what do you sort of see as being your forte in your organization?
It would have to be our logistics. Our logistics is something that we do very well as a company and an organization, from our execution in the restaurant to our execution on our catering events, which allows us to be able to do multiple events in a day, and to the outside world, it looks seamless because of our logistics. I always say, UPS would be envious of our logistics that we have going on, because it really does. It takes all of us working in sync to make sure that each one of these events, whether it's leaving in a truck ahead of time or it's a grill event going out to just a backyard barbecue, that they're going off seamlessly as if they were a full service, wedding event.
Yeah, right. Now, speaking of wedding events, I understand that you guys do a lot of work with that. Can you tell us a bit about that side of your business?
Yeah, so we do a lot of work. We start right from point A. When they come in, Mark is their first point of contact, and Mark really, he sells our brand to our customers, from just everything we can do for them as far as services and provide for them at each different venue that they might be looking at, to custom catering their menu to whatever they might like. 75% of our weddings don't have barbecue on them.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
35% do, 25% don't. Yeah.
But they might only have one barbecue item as their entree. They'll have a chicken limon or a chicken marsala, chicken parmesan, something that isn't barbecue at all. But we pride ourselves that we can appeal to a lot of palates and not just be like in this small little ball that all we are is barbecue and that's all we do. We'll even take family recipes that these bride and grooms love since they were childhood. This grandma's recipe, mom's recipe, and we'll do that for their weddings.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. We really want to take our guests' expectations from just satisfied to wow, because that's how we get repeat business and also new customers, because it only takes one bad wedding to ruin you, but one great wedding can then send you out into more.
Snowballs the business, yeah.
So this happened 2 years ago. We did a consultation, and I was with the mother, the father of the bride, and then the groom, and the bride, and I did the consultation. Then we email them something they can read because they can't read my writing, and then so they came in for the tasting about a month later, I think it was, right, Kyle? And I noticed the mother of the bride wasn't there, and I thought, well, maybe she was working. Well, after the tasting, I go to find out that she had cancer and passed away suddenly.
Oh.
And I thought, oh, man. And I said, what was the favorite meal that your mother made for you? And right away, she said chicken parm. Well, we had a chicken parm recipe, but I gave Kyle the recipe, and I asked her to send us the recipe, and then we invited her back in the following week, the family back in for the tasting. Kyle executed perfectly.
Oh, wow.
And then we served that at their wedding in memory of her mother. So, word got out about that, and everyone loved the food, of course, because then it was like, oh, there's a meaning behind this. So, but little things that we try to do, but it's Kyle's talents that really help, because then it diversifies us a little bit more. And we try to stay more on the comfort level. It's something that'll hold well, but mean, we do things so differently. For example, our crew will get there at, like Kyle said, everyone's got to be on time, and we have a great crew, and if it wasn't for our crew, we wouldn't be here, and we have great communication. To us, that's the key to our success. We meet every Tuesday, but we're always talking, what happened, when we get there to the event, we send one vehicle with all the equipment and all the staff to start setting up. Well, I don't want the food. We don't want the food sitting there for 6 hours. We want it to be fresh. So Kyle sends it with it'll get there no earlier than an hour before serving and no later than a half hour before serving, so it's fresh. And he comes right out of the oven, right into the pan, and out the door. So that really helps too. Timing is a lot, it really is.
It just goes back to the logistics. I mean, with, on our busy Saturday, we do 4 weddings on a Saturday. And then in addition to those, there will be different deliveries mixed in. So we have hot boxes going out, and it's a constant communication of making sure the food's labeled right. It's in the right boxes. It's going on the right deliveries. Just really streamlining everything so that way it takes the guesswork out of it. You can bring these drivers and they can grab their food. They know where they're going, and they can execute what we expect them to do on a regular basis. That way pig roast number 1 is the same as pig roast number 2.
It actually sounds like you probably already have one, but you would need like a operations manager or something to sort of overview everything and sort of puppet string it all.
We have a great one, actually. He has been with our company for over 20 years now.
There you go.
He is, our director of operations, unfortunately not with us here at NBBQA, but yeah, he gets one of those a year. We just let him. And we also have a great catering manager. Our catering manager, Marie, really works with all the clients. She's the one dealing with the emails from the brides and the grooms and the mother-in-laws. She is what I call the Zen person, because she puts all of our clients and everybody in a Zen place, so that way they can put their trust in our hands that we're going to do what we signed up to do and give them a great day that they'll remember.
Because there's only one of them in their lifetime, right?
Hopefully.
I say it has got to be perfect, and it's true. And Kyle said, with the great staff, then Marie's got, my daughter will help Marie, but she also does HR. My wife does the accounting. We have Jay in operations, Kyle in the kitchen. Then Kyle has a great crew. The front of the house, we have a great crew. The restaurant sells the catering, and the catering sells the restaurant. But you're right, the weddings, they have to be perfect, because hopefully it's only going to happen once.
Exactly, yeah. That was kind of a low-hanging joke I did just take there, but,
Oh, it's true. It's very true. Yeah.
So you actually have a bit of an interesting way that you sort of process through the sales process of confirming those bookings. Can you give us an idea of that?
So typically, Ashley and Marie will take the phone calls, and then we don't do we no longer do family style or buffet or plated. We only do buffet. And the reason being is it's all you can eat. We don't market it that way, but we let the bride and groom know they're not going to run out of food. Because I hear stories all the time about if a caterer is going to cut back, they're going to cut back on food, right? Or service for that matter. And we want the bride and groom to feel comfortable. So they'll take the call. They have access to our calendar. They'll schedule a consultation with myself or Jerry, and we'll sit down with them. We'll ask them a series of questions. We'll kind of explain to them as we're going through the questions how the day will unfold, and we kind of help them. What we're doing at the same time is we're doing a timeline for them. Mm-hmm. From the time of ceremony, if ceremony is going to be on location or if it's going to be at a church, from cocktail hour all the way to the end. So, we kind of walk them through it all. And then based on their budget is, we want to be in their budget, because if we're in their budget, we're doing our job. Yep. And there's so many people that are so greedy, I guess, and they're trying to, they add on a cake cutting fee,
A cake cutting fee?
Yeah, there's a lot of caterers put a cake cutting charge per person, on the bill.
Per person.
And it doesn't take a damn rocket scientist to cut a cake. Trust me.
No,
There's ways to do it. But, so we line item everything. There's no hidden fees. There's no, in some caterers won't put gratuity on, but then tell you you need to put on 18% or whatever it may be. We line item everything. So everyone knows, and so they know. So during the consultation, we're taking notes. And then once we take notes, I'm working off a worksheet and I'm filling in pricing for them. So that way they know exactly what it's going to cost. I always tell them I'm doing it in a pen, but it's a pencil because we can take out anything, because they might not realize what they're asking for. It's going to add up. And I'll let them know, we'll let them know. And then after I go through it all with them, then we'll treat them to lunch or dinner. Kyle will put out something, and then then we'll email the quote to them so they can actually read it. And then we'll invite them back in for a tasting. Mm-hmm.
Wow. So they get to meet with you, then get a free meal on that day, and then come back for a tasting of the custom menu of Grandma's recipes.
Whatever they've chosen for their special.
Wow.
Like Mark was saying, that's what really, I feel like streamlines our process and makes it so comforting to brides and grooms, is because if you're going to book a wedding at a hotel, you're sitting down with one person, they got to go to another person and get you pricing, then going back to you. There's no middleman. When you sit down with Mark, you're talking to the top of the tier. He'll give you the great straightforward pricing, and he's going to tell you everything that we're going to do for you to make sure that your day is fully taken care of, that you can put your trust in our hands, not 6 people on a committee or anything like that.
Yeah, and it sounds like you guys go well above and beyond just we're going to turn up with a truckload of food at this time. You almost take on the role of a wedding planner.
Yes, and we kind of tell the wedding planners get in our way, and really we know what we're doing, because we have such a great crew, because of all the communication, we'll always respond within 24 hours or no longer than 24 hours to a question, which we always say, look, you've never done this. No question's a bad question. Don't be afraid to ask us. They'll come out, and if they even want, they can meet us as many times as they want. They can change the menu. Grandmother might have all of a sudden gave them some extra money that they weren't expecting, and next thing you know, we're doing shrimp.
Or they don't realize that it's Lent, in the middle of Lent, and they want to have fish all of a sudden.
And you try to tell them, but they don't think about it until it's actually Lent. So that's happening tomorrow.
Yeah, we actually have 2 weddings tomorrow, which we are in Lent season. Tomorrow is a Lenten Friday. So we had both. Well, last week we had one of the weddings call and want to do fish instead of one of their options. And then this week, literally 2 days ago, the other wedding called and said they wanted to do fish in addition to, which, we're always happy to do another.
In addition to, sure,
entree. But it's just, Mark is very good at planning with our bride and grooms and planning for the day and the season and what's going on and the variables that can happen in those days, because we do a lot of our venues are outdoors. So if there's rain or something, Mark is very good about having contingency plans and stuff in place that even if it downpours, you're still going to have a great ceremony and a great reception.
Yeah, for sure. Sounds good. I can't even imagine 2 days before 100 people, they want to change it. I would lose it. So.
Sometimes he does. Especially in the busy times. We get so many, a lot of times there's stipulations. Other caterers put in stipulations. If your guest count's this price or this high, and then it drops way down here, your price goes higher. We don't do that. There's no reason for that. They change, the day before sometimes, and it throws off our numbers, but we try to accommodate them,
because we don't like to be the caterer out there that they'll just tell you no, they can't do it, they're not going to do it. We like to be known as the caterer that can go above and beyond and do those last minute changes. Not that necessarily it's the most convenient or the most plays into your logistics very well, but we take every wedding we get very seriously. It could be, if we don't get this one right, this could be it. So we need to make sure that we execute it to the T every time.
You never know who your guests are going to be. We get so much corporate business because of guests that have had our food at weddings or at another event. So our food sells hopefully sells itself. And we never, whether it's for 50 to 100. Well, I think our smallest wedding is about 80.
Yeah, 75.
Yeah, this weekend we have one for 320 and 321 for
320 people.
Yeah, that's okay.
Wow.
So we can do that. I mean, that's kind of common. Well, the average I think is about 200.
Yeah, 150 to 200 is our average size wedding. And like that 320 person wedding tomorrow is going to have beef brisket, catfish because they want a fish option.
Fish, yep.
And then they're doing full salad, mashed potatoes, and mac and cheese with all of our mini cornbread sides. They get fresh baked gourmet buns and potato dinner rolls.
Homemade potato rolls, they're awesome.
Wow. All right.
So they get a variety.
Yeah, cool. So before we wrap this up then, I got to ask the most obvious question if we're talking about weddings. Have you ever had a bridezilla moment? Not you personally, where a bride has gone bridezilla.
Oh yeah, quite a bit.
Can you share one of the best stories?
There was, I think this was last year, and it was a special wedding to begin with because we were doing it at a bride's house. And it downpoured that day, and it was a grill-on location. They were having Angus steak, which is, that's good stuff. It's not a usual one that we do, we executed it very well, but it's not our common wedding menu to do an on-site grilled Angus steak. So we're grilling on site at this woman's house, and we have tents up, but the brides and the bride's mom was just, down us all day, like on our case all day. But in the end, she was very happy. The bride and groom were super satisfied. But I mean, we can't control the weather. If we could control the weather, we would call for no rain on every Saturday in the summer.
If you could control the weather, there'd be a whole lot of other things you could do.
Right, exactly.
Outside of the world of barbecue.
And I should say, I never thought in a million years I'd be a full-time wedding planner. I mean, we opened a barbecue restaurant so we could cook barbecue and drink some beer. Now I'm drinking martinis because they're driving me nuts. No, it's not always the brides that turn into bridezilla. It's the mother of the bride.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like, there was one time we did a wedding a few years ago. They were drinking before, at the hotel. They were
always a good start.
Shuttle, and the mother of the bride falls down the stairs, coming off the shuttle, going to the venue, and we knew that was going to be a disaster.
Oh no!
But we got through it, and it all worked out. But they had to take her back to the hotel. Yeah.
Put her to bed and put a little ice pack on her head.
After the ceremony, she went right back to the hotel. It happens.
Yeah. Well, look, I'm going to say thanks very much for your time.
Pleasure, Ben.
Thanks for being on the show. It's been great to meet you and great to hear your stories.
Thank you.
Hey folks, how you going? It's Ben from Smoking Hot Confessions here and Mikey from Man Meat Barbecue. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, and I thought we might have a little bit of a roundup of today's NBBQA conference. Mikey, what do you reckon?
I think it was a great day. It was a great first day. Took a couple different classes. Got to do brisket with the blacks, which is
bucket list right there.
Yeah, it was just amazing. I mean, it was, if you guys were on our Instagram live, we shared a little bit of it. Sorry that it cut out. Internet connection in the kitchen, not the best. But besides that, I mean, we had some great, breakfast here. Operation Barbecue cooked lunch for all of us. I don't know if you got lunch. I couldn't find a knife, so I had to, just tear it up, and it was just fantastic. So we got pulled pork. They smoked some pork loin.
That pork loin was sensational.
It was fantastic, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was nice, cut thick. It was beautiful. I think it was a really good day. There was a lot of great stuff. Mike from Code 3 talked about the rub line and all that kind of stuff in one of his classes about taking a product to market. And that was very, very interesting. And I think a lot of people enjoyed that. The other thing that was really good is the public speaking was fantastic. It just really, I really enjoyed it, actually.
Yeah, me too. That the Code 3 Spices one, there was a lot of just honest truth in that. Like the three of them were up there and they just said, look, this is what we did.
this is how it all fell apart and this is how we fixed it all up. And these are the things that if you're looking at doing this is what you need to not do to be as successful as you can. And I found that to be a common trait, even just talking to people at lunchtime. People are like, oh, what are you trying to do? Oh, okay, yeah. Let me tell you what happened when I did it, so you don't do what I did. And that seems to be the atmosphere and the vibe of the whole event, is just how can we all help each other to grow and do better?
I mean, barbecues, that's what we do, right? We're all brothers and sisters here in the barbecue world. So nobody's stealing anything from anybody else. We're all just kind of vibing together and doing our best to succeed. Because there's 50 billion people on this damn planet. Don't quote me on that number. I might be estimating a little high. We're
podcasters. We're not math teachers. We don't concern ourselves with numbers.
No numbers. But it's just one of those things where you really want to make sure that you support that person next to you. You know what I mean? Like I think it's really weird when I'll talk to people even, and they'll be like, oh, well, how do I start my own podcast? And I'm like, cool, let me break it down. This is what you got to do. And we start talking about what we're going to do. And then they're like, dude, you're telling me all of this. And he's like, yeah. Look, do you think anyone's going to steal your fans? Yeah. Do you want them to? Yeah. I do a podcast for an hour a week. There's a lot of other hours in the week.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's what I like about this sort of team up that we're doing here. We've got two very different styles of shows.
Oh, absolutely.
That, it's not like people are going to choose one or the other.
They're going to listen to both, and then it's just fantastic because then they get 2 hours of barbecue every week instead of one.
Exactly. And if you're like me, you actually buy a little pair of discreet headphones that you can run up your shirt and put inside your ear, and then you can listen to them at work all day and no one even knows.
Well, now they make them wireless, so you just put them in there, Bluetooth them up. Then when somebody tries talking to you, you're like, what?
They need to get even smaller though, and then flesh-colored like hearing aids.
Yeah, just so I'm hard of hearing. I just don't want to listen to you. So what do you think of the first day?
Mate, I've had an absolute blast. For me, it actually started yesterday. I went on that bus tour. We did Plowboys, Slaps, and then the original Joe's. And that was phenomenal because you pull up to this gas station, you're like, wait a minute, what? I thought we're going to a barbecue joint.
Yeah.
And you go inside and it looks like a gas station inside. And
then the best barbecue restaurants are sketchy.
Yeah. and then the manager comes out and he goes, oh, no, we're going underground. And you're like, wait, what? And he took us on this big tour all down, because it goes down 3 levels underneath the gas station. And so there's like right at the very basement is the smokers or the cookers and that, and the food prep area. The second level is like the cutting and the prepping floors. Yep. And then they just run it up the ramp and out into the gas station to serve it to people. It was phenomenal.
That's all. It's amazing. I did not get to go on that tour. I'm sorry. But I mean, we hung out here and talked to a ton of people. Got to do a lot of fun podcasting stuff. A lot of fun.
I was going to ask about that next.
Getting a ton of contacts with people so that we can put them on the show. So we're gonna be quite busy humans. But I think what is crazy is everyone's so willing. It's like, hey, do you want to go do this? Yes.
Yeah.
Fantastic. You know what I mean? Like, it's just such a great community.
Yeah.
Like, we really are part of an amazing community.
Yeah. I think one of the most interesting things that I found today was the range of presentations that were on. So, like, you went to the Blacks brisket demo thing. I went to a marketing thing with Joey Machado from B&B.
Yeah, how was that?
That was really interesting. Because he also pulled up on stage Junior Urias of Junior Urias is up in Smoke Barbecue, and Paul Shater of Head Country.
Okay.
And sorry, Paul, if I completely just butchered your surname, I apologise. I'm Australian, blame it on that. And they went through, and it was the same thing. They went through the 3 brands. They told the story of how they built it, 3 different types of products, and they talked about
problems that they'd come across, how they'd fix them, how people in the audience could avoid making those same mistakes, and then gave suggestions on things like, okay, so if you're looking at marketing, find someone that you can team up with and you can partner up with and work together towards a common goal.
Working together, I mean, is always just so much, I mean, doing collabs with people, doing all these, like, teaming up with people. Listen, nobody has the audience that Ben has. Nobody has the audience that I have. Like, yeah, we cross-pollinate them, but, and I'm not saying it's that we have these huge audiences, but what I'm saying is when we put them together, that's when they really start to work. Yeah. Right? You know what I mean? Like, when you're like, if you're always pounding your own audience or just shoving to your fans or your friends the same stuff, eventually they're going to be like, cool, dude, I get it. Yeah, I know it. But when you're like, hey, check this guy out, I totally vouch for him, this is fantastic, then it's like, oh, well, that's something new. That's interesting. It's going to keep people on their toes. And when you start teaming up, like they're talking about teaming up with everybody, it just brings everybody up. You know what I mean? It brings everybody up to that next level. And I can't remember exactly who I was talking to. I think we were talking about it yesterday or maybe it was earlier today. I don't know. I have so much information to process in your head. But he was saying, like, when I see a new product that hits the market, I want to give people my feedback. And I believe it was actually the guys from Flame Boss. And he's like, listen, the reason that I'll tell you, like, what I think of your product and how you can either make your product better or change that product, just tweak it just a little bit so that it can do more for your consumer and you don't get into the funks that they got into or the breakups that they got into. The big thing for it is it brings everybody up. He's like, it brings everybody up. If your product starts to sell more, guess what? There's more barbecue dudes. They're going to show, you know what I mean? They're going to show that off to their friends and say, look at this cool toy that I just got. Go check it out at the store. Well, if my product's right next to it, he may think that my product's a cool toy and he's going to pick that up. So, you know what I mean? Like, teaming up together, it just works.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you did mention before getting some good content for your podcast.
We got some good content.
Give us a rundown of the guests that you've interviewed, or are you keeping that secret for reveals for later?
I mean, it's not secret. We're talking to a junior from Up in Smoke. We're gonna have Flame Boss on the podcast. Rockwood's gonna get on the podcast. We're gonna talk about charcoal, which is gonna be fantastic. Those are the three that are coming in my mind right now. But we're talking. I mean, I have so many cards right now that I just gotta filter through and emails and send it out. A Blowfish Barbecue. We're gonna be getting that guy on the podcast. He's just a riot and he's just a lot of fun to talk to. And I can't wait to get him on there for an hour and be able to talk. I think what a lot of people don't quite understand yet in the podcast game, it's still so new. It's new and it's old, right? Because it's been around for a minute. But what a lot of people don't understand for the podcast is like, wait, what is this? Like, a lot of people are still dibble-dabbling into, like, learning what it is. So I find myself very much explaining, being like, cool, we're going to chat for an hour. And we're literally going to sit there and just talk. And they're like, okay, cool, but is it live? No, it's not live. We put it out at a later date. So I think people are confused with that.
Yeah, I find it interesting, A, explaining it to guests, and then B, explaining it to Joe Blow on the street.
Oh, yeah.
When I'm talking to Joe Blow on the street, the way I explain it is it's like Netflix for radio. So you can choose what you want to listen to, when you want to listen to it. Yeah. You can pause it, come back to it. Mm-hmm. You know, it really is the Netflix for radio, except that the barrier of entry is so low. I mean, if I can do it, any idiot can do it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I figured it out, so I did it. You can definitely do it. I think
you got two of the biggest idiots that you're ever going to meet, and we've managed to work it out
somehow. But I think that's one of those things where it's like, man, I'm talking to a bunch of people, and I'm talking to a few people that are doing YouTube stuff and doing that kind of stuff, and we're trying to figure that out right now. And it's like, man, it's just the amount of people that are willing to help. And we're right here. We're right here willing to help you guys. If anyone wants to start a podcast, if anybody wants to do something, start a YouTube channel, be social, you want to start a barbecue page, you want to start a barbecue business, you guys can always DM me, email me. You can do whatever you want. You can send me stuff. You can snail mail me if you really want. You can send me letters. I probably won't handwrite letters back to you, but I mean...
When was the last time you actually got a letter that wasn't a bill in the mail? Yeah, me too.
Great question. That's a strong question.
My mum sent me a Christmas card.
I got a wedding invitation. Does that count?
Of course, yeah.
Okay, so we got a wedding invitation.
There you go.
But I don't think we get anything else. You get wedding invitations, you get bills, and then you get a bunch of junk mail.
Ugh.
You know what I mean? You get that, like, we get those, like, advertisements that are like, hey, come to this Chevy dealership. And it's like, no, I'm okay.
I'm a Ford guy. Chuck it in the bin.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? It's just like, can't. I just don't want this.
Yeah.
Mail's not, snail mail's not the real thing. But I'm just saying, we're here. We're always willing to help. I'm
Absolutely.
always willing to talk to anybody that wants to get into catering, getting into this kind of stuff. I think one of the hardest things that people they just don't know where to ask the questions.
Or they don't feel that they're able to approach us to ask the questions.
Sure. I mean, I think I'm approachable. I'm just a regular dude that does a podcast. And I think that's like sometimes like people will be like, oh, but that tons of people listening. It's like, dude, that doesn't go into my head at all. I just do a podcast, you know what I mean? Put it out and hope that there's some listeners somewhere.
Yeah. It does feel a bit like that sometimes. Now, coming up in about 40 minutes now is the dinner and the awards.
Dinner and the awards.
Are you excited about the NBBQA Awards?
I am. I think they're going to be a lot of fun. Like I said, this is our first year here, so we should have a lot of fun. Apparently, there's a digital award that I didn't know about, so I didn't enter, which means we're not going to win. But you're up for some. So you said you're up for about 5 categories, correct?
I've put in for 5 of the different categories, yeah. So I put in the podcast for digital media audio series.
Okay.
I did a series of videos at Smoking on the Water in Perth in November last year, so I put that up for best video series. I did an individual video with Matt Staunton from Smoke and Coals Barbecue at Barbecue Wars in July, and I put that in for the best single video. I did a blog article discussing the ABA changes for 2019. I published that in about November. So I put that in for the best single article. And then again, I built a whole new website last year. I spent about 10 months, 5 hours a night, every night, week in, week out for 10 months building this brand new website. So I've put that up for best barbecue blog as well. So we'll just see what happens. I don't know.
You excited?
I am excited. Last year, the podcast picked up second place, which was really exciting. Given the time difference, when the awards were actually finished up, it was about 10 o'clock in the morning for me and I was at work.
So and that's fantastic. You can 10 in the morning.
Well, I was desperately trying to find out the results of the awards, and I was flipping through Facebook, flipping through Instagram, and I came across a live feed by Behind the Smoke.
Okay.
Those guys were here last year.
Yeah.
And I tuned into the feed and I heard them say, and such and such got first, and then Ben from Smoking on Confessions got second. I was like, wait, what? what? And so I sent them a message saying, I'm at work, but let's do an Instagram live thing. Give me 20 minutes. And I ran out of work. I ran across the road to the electronics store. I bought a headset microphone for my phone because I'd left mine at home. And then I had to go sit in the car and hide in the car park. And I spoke to them live on Instagram for about 20 minutes.
That's awesome, dude. That's just awesome.
Yeah.
It's crazy how technology can literally bridge so many gaps.
Oh, it's outrageous.
You know what I mean? And you hold on, I'm going to talk to you in 20 minits. What? Yeah, we're going to like video conference in 20 minutes.
Yeah. in real time, and it sounds almost as good as if you're just sitting there with the person.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's insane.
Yeah,
it's kind of terrifying.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah. So what we're planning on doing for the awards tonight, I'm going to set mine up to broadcast them live on Facebook on the Smoking Hot Confessions page. Mikey's going to set his up.
I'm going to go Instagram live, guys. I won't be behind my phone, so please don't put any questions because I won't see them.
How long do the Instagram live videos stay up for?
24 hours.
Okay. So if they did want to put a question, you would be able to get back, but later.
Yeah, I could go, I guess, through that. I don't know if I'd have to watch the whole feed. I don't know if I would see it populate questions. That I don't know.
Yeah, that's a.
I don't know how it works.
Yeah.
Which I should know. But apparently
we will workshop that in the next 35 minutes.
We will figure that out in the next 35 minutes. If anyone's actually watching this, leave a comment right now for us, and we'll see if we can see it later.
Good idea. Good thing.
Because that's really the only way. I think that's the only way we're going to figure that out.
Yeah.
But if we have to watch the whole thing, I will try to get to it. But it's a 3-hour segment, and I'm already giving another 3 hours tonight. Might not function well.
No. And Facebook operates differently. If you do want to put a question in, put a comment in, I will see them. The Facebook live videos stay up indefinitely. So if you got a question, you want to ask something, you want to say something, do let me know, put it on there, and I will definitely get back to you.
Yeah, fantastic.
All right. Cheers, man.
Cheers. Let's go. It's fun.
Yeah. Beer time.
And there you have it, family. What a collection of interviews. So many fascinating stories and lessons to be taken. A huge thanks have to go out to all those who took the time out of their busy conference schedules to speak to me, and I look forward to meeting you all again next year. Before I let you go, I want to remind you about our killer merch lineup, the Smoking Hot Confessions community on Facebook, and if you have a minute, it'd really help me out if you could subscribe, rate, and review the show. The ratings and reviews trigger the algorithms and make Apple distribute the podcast further and wider, so they are really important and very much appreciated. And that's the end of the show. Till next time, take care of each other and keep on queuing.
Thanks for listening to the Smoking Hot Confessions podcast. Head on over to smokinghotconfessions.com for recipes, tips, and Ben's own confessions.